You delivered every project on time. Your performance reviews were consistently strong. You exceeded your targets. You went above and beyond. And yet the promotion went to someone else. Someone whose results weren't noticeably better than yours. Maybe even someone you quietly outperformed. If this has happened to you, you probably assume something was broken. Politics, favoritism, bias, something unfair. And maybe those factors were involved. But there's also something more fundamental happening. Something most people never see because they're not in the room where promotion decisions actually get made. Promotions are no longer primarily about performance. Performance is table stakes. It's the minimum requirement to be considered. But it's not what determines who gets selected. Let me explain how this actually works. In most organizations above a certain size, promotions don't happen the way people think they happen. Your manager doesn't just decide you're ready and promote you. There's a process, and that process is optimized for something different than pure merit. It's called calibration, and if you've never been in a calibration meeting, you don't understand how promotions actually happen. Here's what calibration looks like. Multiple managers get in a room, usually once or twice a year. They bring their lists of people they want to promote, and they have to advocate for those people to a group that includes their peers and senior leadership. There are constraints, budget constraints, headcount constraints, organizational priorities, political dynamics, and limited time. A typical calibration meeting might have 15 managers advocating for 30 candidates across maybe 10 available promotion slots. Your manager has roughly 3 to 5 minutes to make your case. 3 to 5 minutes. That's what your entire year of performance gets distilled down to. And in those 3 to 5 minutes, your manager isn't presenting a detailed analysis of your accomplishments. They're telling a story that has to be compelling enough to win in a competitive environment where other managers are telling equally compelling stories about their people. Performance is part of that story, but it's not the whole story. It's not even the most important part in many cases. Here's what actually determines whether you get promoted in that room. First, can your manager tell a clear narrative about why you're ready? Not why you've performed well. Why you're ready for the next level. Those are different questions. You can perform excellently at your current level and not seem ready for the next level. And the people making decisions in that room are pattern matching. They're asking, does this person fit the pattern of people who succeed at the next level? If your work has been excellent but narrow, if you've been heads down executing, if you haven't been visible in strategic contexts, it's hard to tell that story. Your manager is fighting perception. And perception is shaped by visibility, not just performance. Second, does promoting you solve an organizational need? Or does it create a problem? If your team has an open headcount at the senior level and you're the logical person to fill it, that's a clean story. Promoting you fills a need. The organizational logic is clear. But if your team is fully staffed at the senior level, promoting you means either creating a new position which requires budget, or moving you to a different team which requires coordination and political capital. Suddenly promoting you is complicated. It's not impossible, but it's harder to get through calibration, because other managers have cleaner stories. And in a time-constrained competitive environment, cleaner stories win. Third, how much political capital is your manager willing to spend on you? And how much do they have? Calibration is political. Managers trade. They build alliances. They call in favors. A senior respected manager who's willing to fight for you has a much better chance of getting you promoted than a junior manager with limited credibility in that room. This has almost nothing to do with your performance. It has everything to do with organizational dynamics you're not part of and can't control. Fourth, are you being compared to internal standards or external ones? This is subtle but critical. If you've been at the company for years, people have a fixed impression of you. You're the person who does X. Even if you've grown significantly, you're being evaluated against your own history. Meanwhile, someone who joined recently or transferred from another part of the company gets evaluated fresh. No baggage, no preconceptions. They can be seen as ready for the next level more easily because there's no contradicting historical data. This is why external hires often get senior titles that internal candidates can't seem to reach. It's not that they're better. It's that they're being evaluated differently. Let me make this concrete with a real scenario. I'll change details, but this pattern happens constantly. 2 product managers, both at mid-level, both gunning for senior PM. Person A has been at the company for 4 years. Consistent strong performance, ships features on time, maintains good relationships with engineering, solid reviews every year, works hard, rarely makes mistakes. Person B has been there 18 months. Came from a well-known tech company. Performance is good but not noticeably better than Person A, but Person B does a few things differently. They comment in high-visibility Slack channels where executives are present. They volunteer to present at all-hands meetings. They've gotten FaceTime with the VP through a cross-functional project. They talk about product strategy, not just execution. They're visible in contexts where they're around people 2 levels above them. Calibration meeting happens. Person A's manager brings them up. The conversation goes like this. Person A has been crushing it. Shipped 6 major features this year. Never misses deadlines. Engineering loves working with them. They're ready. Someone in the room asks, have they done anything at the senior level yet? Have they driven strategy or just executed well? The manager pauses. They execute at a really high level. They could definitely do senior level work. That's not a yes. That's a hedge. And hedges don't win in calibration. Person B's manager presents. Person B has been shaping our product roadmap. They drove the strategic review that influenced our Q4 priorities. They've been operating at senior level already. Promoting them recognizes what they're already doing. That's a cleaner story. It's not necessarily more true, but it's more legible to the room. And legibility wins. Person B gets promoted. Person A is told they're on track but need more time. They're confused because they objectively delivered more, but they were being evaluated on different criteria than they understood. Here's what Harvard Business Review found when they studied promotion patterns across large organizations. Performance ratings explained less than 30% of the variance in who got promoted. The other 70% came from factors like visibility to senior leadership, perception of strategic capability, strength of manager advocacy, organizational need, and whether the person fit the cultural template of what promoted people look like. None of those factors are about how well you did your job. They're about organizational dynamics, perception management, and political positioning. This is why the advice, just do good work, is incomplete. Good work is necessary, but it's not sufficient, and most people don't realize that until they've spent years optimizing for performance while their peers were optimizing for visibility and positioning. So what does this mean if you want to actually get promoted? First, understand that promotions are a competitive resource allocation process. You're not being evaluated in isolation. You're being compared to other candidates in a constrained environment. Which means you need to make it easy for your manager to advocate for you. That means doing work that's easy to explain and easy to connect to organizational priorities. It means being visible enough that people in the room have an independent impression of you, not just your manager's word. Second, recognize that readiness signals matter more than performance metrics. You need to look like you're already operating at the next level, not just capable of it. That means seeking out work that's typically done at the level above you. Strategic projects, cross-functional initiatives, anything that puts you in contexts where you're operating alongside people at the level you want to reach. This is what creates the narrative your manager can use. They're already doing senior level work, is a much stronger story than, I think they could do senior level work. Third, visibility is not optional. You don't need to be obnoxious about self-promotion. but you do need to be visible to people who influence promotion decisions. That means contributing in forums where senior people are present. It means making sure your work gets seen, not just done. It means building relationships outside your immediate team so when your name comes up in calibration, people have positive associations. Fourth, understand your manager's position in the organization. A weak manager, even with the best intentions, can't get you promoted as easily as a strong manager. If your manager is junior, politically weak, or not well connected, your path to promotion is harder regardless of your performance. That's not fair, but it's reality. Which means sometimes the strategic move is to transfer to a stronger manager or a team with more headcount flexibility, even if it feels like a lateral move. Fifth, timing matters enormously. Promotions are batched. If you just missed the last calibration cycle, you might be waiting a full year even if you're ready now. Organizations also promote based on need. If there's a role that needs filling, that creates urgency. If there isn't, promoting you is discretionary. And discretionary promotions are much harder to get through calibration. Here's what this all adds up to. The promotion system is not primarily a meritocracy. It's a resource allocation process influenced by organizational dynamics, perception management, political capital, and timing. Performance is required, but it's the baseline, not the differentiator. What differentiates is being easy to promote, having a clean narrative, being visible to decision makers, having a strong advocate, timing your push with organizational need. None of this is about being fake or manipulative. It's about understanding the actual system and positioning yourself accordingly. The people who get promoted aren't necessarily the best performers. They're the people who make it easy for the system to select them. They understand that promotion decisions happen in rooms they're not in, made by people evaluating them against criteria they don't see, in a process optimized for organizational efficiency rather than pure merit. And once you understand that, you stop being confused when performance alone doesn't lead to promotion. You realize you were optimizing for the wrong thing. The system isn't broken, it's just not optimizing for what you thought it was. And adjusting your strategy to match the actual system is the difference between advancing and staying stuck wondering why good work isn't enough.